Hello Capricorn, how are you? It's me, Lauren B from the Untitled Tarot. Welcome in if you're brand new here, and welcome back if you're returning. We have come outside again to do your weekly. I haven't seen you guys in a little bit. I'm sorry. I had to take a little sabbatical. I had to take a little untitled time, but we are here to do your weekly, and I'm using a different deck for you guys today. I got a new deck. I got a couple new decks actually, and I've been testing them out, trying to get to know them a little bit before I kind of introduce them to channels. I love doing the basic instinct spread for you guys, and I love using the animal oracle, but I felt like I wanted to do something different. So I have the Mystical Dream Tarot. I will put the title of it in the description box along with the rest of the decks that I always list. It is a beautiful deck, Capricorn. You are the first sign that I'm using for it. I'm very, very excited. It is different than a regular tarot deck, just in the artwork and the interpretations. So bear with me. It's beautiful, and I hope that you love it. Okay. So I pulled out your general energies. I laid out the spread like normal. So I did your general energies, your strengths, your weaknesses, the environment, what to do moving forward. I actually wasn't even anticipating doing your reading today. I just came out here to do my thing, check on our plants. Your plants are doing beautiful, Capricorn, by the way. Your plants are doing beautiful. And I was called to do your reading. So I laid it out for you, and we're going to go through it. Okay. So in your general energy, you have the Six of Wands. How fascinating, right? How beautiful is that Six of Wands card? It's gorgeous. Look, you have this beautiful snake in this beaker, and it's like it's being charmed out. And what do snakes represent for us? Like death and rebirth processes, right? Transformation. And then we have out the Divine Tower. Look at this Tower card. And we have it out in reverse. And then we have out the Lovers card, which I'm actually getting in a little bit of a different way today, but beautiful, beautiful. And then topping off your general energy, we have the Five of Pentacles. Look at that, my beautiful Capricorn. So I sat with these for a little while. One, because you just get lost in this deck. It's so beautiful. But furthermore, what I'm getting is the main gist is that you guys are going through a little bit of a two-part death and rebirth cycle, which I don't know if you were expecting, honestly. But so in the Six of Pentacles card, Six of Wands, I'm sorry. That's normally like a victory card. It's usually a lady on a horse or a guy on a horse, and they're walking through a parade. Victory, victory. Not so much here, right? Look, we have all these little snake eggs, right? And then we have this snake in this beaker, very reminiscent of this death and rebirth energy. And it's looking up out of this beaker as though it's being charmed, right? And then you have this Divine Tower card next. And it looks as though it's almost the same. And it's very circular. Again, it's like this cyclical cycle energy. It's like this rebirth is trying to be charmed out of this incubation. Yes, towards a new cycle, right? What is the opposite of death? Rebirth. Over into this new energy, into this Lover's energy. And on my board, it looks different because that's how things work. On my board, it's like this. So for me, the way I see it is this rebirth is trying to be coaxed out by this new cycle out of this beaker, almost like over a tower, over a death process in order to, I see it kind of like this, like an actual snake, like under and over and under and over here. It's like you start as like this little egg, like this little seed, right? And you have this death and rebirth process that you're in, and you're trying to get over the hump. You're being charmed, right, into this new rebirth. And when you get to the other side of it, you're hoping that instead of like a snake, you will have shed all of those skins to be available and receptive and open and nurturing and loving. Not necessarily, it could be to a specific person, absolutely, but it feels bigger than that. It feels very much bigger than that. It's to like a cleansing of self. Right? Because I look at this fish and it feels like almost like a dead fish a little bit, right? But inside of it, there is life, right? There is a woman, there's nurturing, divine feminine energy, okay? And flows represent like abundance, they represent money, they represent good fortune, right? So it's almost as though when a caterpillar becomes a butterfly, right? It kind of becomes three things. It's a caterpillar, and then it goes into its little cocoon, it goes into the chrysalis, and it kind of becomes something else. I don't know what you call it inside, mush. But then after that, it becomes a butterfly. So it's actually like three different things that are happening. So this is you're in the middle of a two-part death and rebirth process. Somebody should be watching Harry Potter. That's for someone. Somebody should be watching Harry Potter. Okay, so moving on. In your strengths, you have out the Judgment card. Ooh, so this is divinely guided, this death and rebirth process, that you're on the right track, absolutely. And can we talk about how beautiful this card is? Look at this Judgment card. And again, look, we're talking, look, these two snakes, this two-part death and rebirth cycle, right? Because it's almost like it wasn't just like a death and rebirth of a certain way of living or a certain aspect of yourselves. It really was like a deconstruction, you know, all of that programming that we go through as people in the course of our life to kind of get back to, you know, yourself, your higher self, your ego, your shadow self, right? Coming right in the middle, your feminine and your masculine sides. And here's these fish again, right? But they're swimming now, they're flowing in abundance with this two-part death and rebirth cycle. And then you will have out the Dream Carrier in reverse. So this card is equivalent to the Empress, right? So in reverse, in a typical tarot deck, the Empress in reverse would speak of over emotionality. It would speak of codependency to me, right? But for me, I'm looking at this in your strengths with this Judgment card upright, and what it tells me is like you're putting everything into this rebirth. This could be, again, this could be like a rebirth of aspects of yourself. This could be a rebirth of, you know, a relationship, some kind of reconciliation. This could be, it feels very much like a life cycle. It feels like very much with this with two major arcanas, it feels like faith. I don't know if it's a passion project or like a soul mission for you or a great love. I don't know what it is for you. This is very, very general, but whatever it is, not only does it feel like divinely guided in the process of this, nature of this death and rebirth, but it feels like you're putting all your eggs in the basket. It's like you're going for it, right? And I'm also getting, it's like, I'm looking at this book and this apple, right? And I'm looking at the child, right? It's like these two aspects of yourself, you know, it's like your inner child and yourself. And I'm hearing like the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And normally people mean that in the sense of family, like you're not that different from your folks kind of thing. But I'm actually seeing with this Judgment card and all of this alignment of your higher self, your ego, your shadow self, your feminine and masculine aspects, all of these aspects, that it's like, no matter what comes up for you, Capricorn, no matter what hiccups arise, that you're never going to fall too far off your path now, too far off your mission. It's like you are so invested in this project, in this relationship, in your spirituality, in this soul mission, whatever it is for you, that no matter what happens to come and try and upset your apple cart, it's not going to. It's not going to, right? You might trip up a little bit, but it's not going to throw you off that far because you're too invested. You poured everything into this. Which is why the Judgment is upright too, might I add. Now in your weaknesses, it's very interesting. We have the Six of Pentacles. Ooh, my throat chakra. You might not like this. We have the Six of Pentacles. Now this is a beautiful card. And in this is, you know, Six of Pentacles talks about giving and receiving, right? So that's kind of the general theme of your nature. Of your weaknesses. But so what I'm seeing right now, she has this cat on her lap, right? Intuition. But then she also has this frog. What do frogs represent to us? They represent purging, they represent cleansing, right? And she's only paying attention to this cat. So it almost seems like in your weaknesses, and I'm also being drawn to note all of the foliage down here. It's almost like it needs to be like weeded. It's almost like you're paying so much attention to your intuition, like your third, it's like you're almost too turned in with your third eye, that it's like you're normal to, like you're more like you're mortal eyes, your muggle eyes, you know, are not really kind of paying attention to what needs to be cleansed or purged, or what kind of needs to be weeded out of your garden, right? Because if you don't weed your garden, they will suffocate the roots of all the good plants. And then we have the Ten of Swords, right? So traditionally at Ten of Swords, that's the end of a cycle, but it's burdens, right? It's heavy
burdens. You pick up those swords one at a time. Very much of the same as the Ten of Wands. Now in reverse, this would tell me, okay, you're letting it go. But because it's in your weaknesses, it's telling me that you could be a little bit stubborn, right? And this is a bull, or, you know, it could look like a ram, but we do have all of this water. So it is like very much of that sea goat Capricorn energy. Yes. But it's telling me that it's like, you're relying too much on I don't want to say connection to source, but on your third eye, on your intuition, and not enough on like the practical things of what's pulling on your energy, what needs to get weeded out. And it's almost like you're being a little stubborn about that, like you don't really want to look at it, sort of. It's like you don't I don't know if it's like you don't want to do the weeding or you wouldn't do the weeding. It just almost feels like you're so spaced out. Honestly, it's like you're looking for answers like in the sky, but really it's like in the ground. Like pull it out. Like that's a problem. That's making you feel weird. Take it out, right? You're being a little bit stubborn about that. And then you have the Three of Pentacles. Again, this is also very much of like a cooperative kind of give and take energy, a little bit like the Six of Pentacles. And I don't feel as though you're not being cooperative, but see, it's like this is you again pouring everything, right? Everything into this judgment, into this death and rebirth cycle for yourself. That's why I'm getting like very much, it could be like a soul mission, a spirituality kind of thing, because it almost looks like Mother Mary in this tree, right? Again, with these trees, these apples in this tree. And it's almost like you're so, how do I say this? Help me. It's like you're so focused on prayer. You're in such deep meditation. You're so focused on this mission, on this relationship, on this purpose that you have, right? Which is good because it does very much feel divinely guided and supported by source. But it's like you almost don't realize that there are people just coming and picking fruit off of your tree, right? Like the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. People are just, and with this woman dressed in white, it tells me that these aren't necessarily people with bad intentions. The white garb tells me that these could be people with really innocent intentions, absolutely, but they just might be pulling on your energy too much, maybe just like asking you for too much. Maybe you just don't have it right now because you're so focused in on this project, and through that you're growing this foundation for yourself, right? Like it is beautiful, and you're growing branches off from it, and you have these fruits, right, to share, not just to enjoy for yourself, but to share with others. But in that, there are going to be people that come and they're going to want sometimes more than you have to give. And that could be time, that could be energy, that could be love, that could be money, that could be 1,001 things, Capricorn. It really can. But that's just something for you to note. I feel like you guys are having trouble talking about this. My throat's a little scratchy, but that's very much what it feels like in your weaknesses. It's just that you guys are, because you're so tuned into this mission that it's like, you have to pay a little bit closer attention to where your energy is being extended, because you can't have a rebirth unless you have the strength to like be birthed, if that makes any sense, right? So it's a little bit of just like be mindful of where your energy is extending, right? Don't be so lost in prayer or meditation or focus that you can't keep. You ever watch Practical Magic? Does anybody ever watch Practical Magic? Nicole Kidman has a line and she's talking about being in love. And it's because we do have this Lovers card, right? But that could also very much be like soulmate, soul tribe energy, friends, family, also soul mission, right? Soul mission can be like a labor of love. And she's talking about it, and she goes, the thing about it is if you don't keep your eyes on something still, it's like when you spin and spin and spin really, really fast, and you don't keep your eyes on something still, and then basically everything goes to shit. That's basically that's what they're talking about. It's like you're kind of spinning in this death and rebirth process, kind of in this beaker, right? It's like there's that it's like if you don't open up your eyes a little bit, Capricorn, you need to spot something. That's what it is. You need to spot something. Keep your eyes on something still. You can't see what's happening to you and the people around you, right? Because next thing you know, that tree could be barren and you don't even have enough to feed yourself. Fill your own cup, right? So that's something to be mindful of. I went on a tangent, but this is my channel, so here we are. Okay, Capricorn, so let's get into your environment. We have the Nine of Swords in your environment first out. Normally that's very good. It's talking about putting down burdens, right? And then you have the Ace of Wands in reverse. Gorgeous. Now, this just talks about putting down burdens. And here, I feel like it's almost like a list of grievances, or like a list of wishes, a list of manifestations, just a list of everything. And it's feels a little bit of this, hermit mode. It feels a little hermit mode, right? And I see her kind of just like letting it go. Like I just have to let it go. It's like I have to free up this space so that way I can grow and I can be reborn, right? And then in this next card, it's exactly that, right? It's like she goes from all tied up to like, here I am, naked as the day I was born. And this dove, right? It talks about faith. Like I'm just gonna give my concerns up to the universe. I'm just gonna let go and let God, right? And then you have out the Lord of Swords. The Lord of Swords. I get very Rammy Aries energy off this card, actually, which is interesting for being the King of Swords. But this is telling me in the environment that there is it's kind of here. There's a need to, I'm hearing like carve, chisel. There's a weeding, extracting energy that there might be like a pressure or anxiety to almost just be like, just forget it all. Just like get it all out then. Like not wanting to almost do the because you're so big picture right now. I think you kind of have to be in order to like gain the steam. Excuse me. I feel like you have to be kind of big picture in order to gain the momentum and the steam to kind of push through this, because the details of the day-to-day might really just get you down. And you might just feel like really defeated underneath like the shit of every day. I'm sorry, there's a bug. I wasn't having it. All God's children, but I just don't want it near me. I'm so sorry. Also there's things, nature. So there is this sense of that you might have a tendency or an impulse to kind of just clean house and just be like, I can't sit here and get through the nitty-gritty of everything, because it almost like brings you so back down into reality that it's a little defeating or demoralizing or something like that. But it's really encouraging you like not to just completely just chop down the entire cherry tree, right? And then you have the wisdom card out, or the wisdom card. Interesting. Kind of, yeah, it's the wisdom teacher. So this is the equivalent to the hermit card. It's very different. It is a very different interpretation. I love it. But in a nutshell, for you and your environment, it's telling me that you're having a little bit of an issue between, again, wanting to just like clear house. You know, it's like kind of trying to, should I withdraw a little bit through this? I don't know how much of my process I should be sharing with other people. What do I tell? What do I share? Is this helpful? Is this hurtful if I tell them? Should I be a teacher right now? Should I be a student? Should I step up? Should I sit down? It's like you like not really knowing like how to proceed, right? So what's the next line? What's the last line we do in our weekly spreads, folks? How to proceed. So, my little Capricorns, how are we going to proceed? 9 of Pentacles, baby. We're going to stand in our glory, because this is you. Again, it's like the swirling. It's like the swirling. I'm almost getting like the fiery batons, right? There's something with, it's like fiery batons. It's like, here you are, like swirling, swirling, swirling. Stand in your glory. It's like, this is you, right? It's this light. It's like you are this light. It's like you trying to come up to your higher self. Whereas there's this judgment card, right? It's like your shadow self, your feminine, and they're all looking up to your higher self with this swirly, swirly, swirl. Do you see? It's like you're in the thick of it. You're actually in the thick of it. So it's like, don't look back. Don't look over your shoulder. Don't look too far ahead, Capricorn. It's like, sit and swirl. Sit and swirl, right? And then you have the Lady of Wands. So this would be the equivalent of the Queen of Wands, right? Very fiery energy. I love this interpretation of the Queen of Wands. This is chef's kiss around the board for the Queen of Wands cards. And you have it in reverse. But I kind of love it. So it's proceeding forward. It's like, sit tight. Calm down. Calm down. You have the Lord of Cups out next. So that'd be the equivalent to the King of Cups. Saying like, sit tight. Calm down. Figure out where you want to put your emotions. Get kind of, because you're not sure. You're a little bit all over the place. It's making you feel kind of funny. You kind of just want to be like, ugh, like the nitty gritty of it and just kind of clear house. So it's sit tight, calm down, figure out where you want to put your emotions. Where do you want to put your energy, right? Because you need water in order to grow all of these wonderful plants, all of these things for yourself, right? But you could also flood them. Not everything needs water, right? If something needs to be weeded, you can't weed it, you don't water it, right? And it will go. So it's like you really needing just kind of reassess where you want to put that energy, like we were talking about. Are you taking too much for yourself? Are you filling up your own cup? Are you letting people like kind of take a little bit too much of your energy, even if it's with perfectly innocent intentions? Because it happens, right? It happens. And there's no problem with that. Like, you're Capricorn. You guys are like my CEOs. Like, you got it and you can handle it. And so people like to come to you for help all the time. They're like, well, of course Capricorn can help me. Capricorn knows how to fix this, right? But you're so focused on this too that you also want to make sure that you're not getting yourself upset, you're not getting yourself too anxious, right? Because then that throws you off of your game, Capricorn. You have to stay in alignment with your assignment. Who says that? House of Ushan? I think House of Ushan says that. And then you have the Spirit of Swords. This is my, this is the messenger. The messenger, the knights. They say them in so many different decks. So think of this as the Knight of Swords. This is the Knight of Swords. That brings messages of truth, right? And it's interesting for a message of truth card. You can kind of see his eyes are kind of closed, right? It's burning up here. It's almost like the truth of your intuition without having to see. It's like you have that. You already have that with these peacock feathers. That could talk about pride, right? But I'm hearing pride, but I'm also hearing integrity. I'm hearing both at the same time. And then you have the Scorpion, which is interesting because Scorpion, again, can be very much of a transformation, death and rebirth process, right? It's very fiery, it's very passionate, it's very transformative. And it's interesting because it's kind of clawing over his mouth. So it's like, sit down. It's like, sit tight, calm down, get a little bit of rein of your emotions and figure out like where is too much and where is too little. And let's make sure the right amount of water is flowing to the right amount of places in a healthy way for us, right? So that way we can bring in our truth. We can express our truth that we know intuitively because we're so connected to source, right? And that the messages and the way that we're expressing ourselves is coming from a place of integrity, right? And not ego and not pride, right? It's coming from a place of growth and transformation and not jealousy, right? Not unfocused passions, not scurrying around thoughts, right? And then you have the Wise Fox. This is equivalent to the Death card. And I love it. Do you see how she's pushing away this death? She's pushing it away. Why? Because you're having a rebirth, right? You have to protect it. And you're going to do that with your truth once you feel better sitting in it, once you kind of call back some of your energy to you, right? And look at this. This is a fox. It's very much the think on your feet energy. Again, directly connected, toe to tip with this little baby angel, right? This youthful energy, this kind of beginner's mind. Where you at? When to be the teacher, when to be the student, knowing when to do that. You kind of have to be able to, like, what do we say here? Lean with it, rock with it, right? Because 5 of Swords in reverse, because we don't want this conflict. No, we do not. No. So, Cappy, we're gonna sit tight, we're gonna calm down, we're gonna recollect our energy, figure out what cups you're pouring into and why, so that way we can give our truth to the best of our ability. We can speak with integrity and truth and pride, and not out of anger, not out of ego, not out of fear, right? Because that cheapens our message. And Capricorns don't cheapen their message. Not for a goddamn minute. Because we're gonna have this rebirth come hell or high water. You know why? Because the Judgment's in our strengths. And the Lovers are in our general energy. And so is Victory. And we're not doing it anymore, Capricorn. We know how to grow. Just make sure nobody's picking too much off your tree, okay? All right, I hope that you enjoyed this. If you liked it, let me know, or just enjoy it on your own time. All of my information's in the description box. All of the decks I use, my email for personals, my Twitter, all my stuff. And I just wanted to thank everybody for being so kind and patient when I have to take my little self-care psychic hotline breaks, and all the new faces and energy around here. It's just so lovely. I'm so happy to have you guys and that we get to do this together. This thing called life. It's great. So I will see you next week, Capricorn. Take care of yourselves, okay? Goodbye.